The summit is an allegory, a story within a story that explores overcoming life's challenges and discovering the courage to become who we were meant and created to be. A perfect message for those at mid-career, half-time of life, really deciding what's next. The young heroine begins her journey as Mallery, a name meaning ill-fated or the unfortunate one. Along the way, she is given a band of hope. And as she faces one obstacle after another, she grows into her new name, Andriette, meaning strong and courageous. And in this episode of The Power of Aftershow, we'll take a brief chapter-by-chapter journey through the book. So stay with us all the way through the epilogue. Then pick up your own copy to experience the full adventure. The summit also makes a wonderful gift, especially for girls and young women who are discovering their own courage, confidence, and strength. Many talented mid-career professionals reach a point where they ask, what's next? They have experience, skills, and wisdom, but lack a clear roadmap for their next chapter. We provide the framework and guidance to help you get there. Check out our courses and offers. Now, let's dive into today's episode. Day 1, Chapter 1 of The Summit. The offer came on a flyer tacked to the announcement board in town. Reach the summit. Do you long for a new life outside Babel? Do you believe that you were made for bigger and better things? Do you wish someone would show you the way? Well, sign up for a rare, personal trip to the summit. Your guide will show you the way. But hurry. This opportunity is only good until the day of Jubilee. Oh, Mallery had kept her ideas hidden in a book that she kept in a satchel beneath her pillow. This book held the dreams that she had stopped sharing after her mother told her, "Oh, get your head out of the clouds and get to your chores like everyone else in Babel." She daydreamed about what would happen if she followed her dreams. But did she have what it takes to reach the summit, where she could stumble or fail? That is the question that Mallery has to answer for herself. No one else could answer that question but her. Get your copy now of The Summit, Journey to Hero Mountain. Available in all formats on Amazon.com and other book retailers. Day 2, Chapter 2 of The Summit. How did the guide know about Mallery's journal? Were her words written full of doubt and fear the reason that he gave her a band of hope to wear? Oh, well, she had seen the word hope used mostly for face creams and new product promises. How would a simple band help her now? She did want to find out who she could become, and that's the reason she wanted to make the journey. Having Crockett by her side, her faithful canine companion, it made the trip a little less ominous, though her guide said she didn't need him. With a name that meant unfortunate, she wasn't so sure. Friends would tease her, "Mallery, Mallery, you're ill-fated. Even your name is understated." Her mother thought it was a pretty name, but she felt like she had lived up to its meaning. But she was here now, going to the summit. This was her opportunity, and she knew if she didn't go now, she probably never would. Day 3, Chapter 3 of The Summit. The snake surprised her. Mallery just ventured into the tangled forest, and though it had been beautiful upon entering, it was now dense with overgrowth. She carefully avoided the reptile and remembered her guide's words that she'd be safe. She was glad that she brought Crockett, who seemed to enjoy the challenge of maneuvering through tree roots and vines. Her guide had warned her not to say anything of her trip to anyone back home, at least not yet. But her cousin Craven's call, it made it hard not to share that she was going. Well, soon her little town Babel was buzzing with the news. Mallery was going to the summit. Well, now they had to stop her because she could get hurt. And there was no way someone like Mallery could ever be successful. Criticism was common for Mallery. So many of her friends and even her family members, they claimed that, they cared about her. But they were led more by self-interest than true concern. He didn't want to be embarrassed about the possibility of Mallery's failure. But Mallery had just begun, and she had no intention of quitting. Day 4, Chapter 4 of The Summit. The valley before Mallery was a welcome sight. She had emerged from a forest that had grown darker and denser as she had proceeded, and now the sunshine was a welcome reprieve. The trip was already holding some strange occurrences, now with bunker-like hills containing small doors with keys before her. Her guide had shown up once in the forest when she needed him, but she and Crockett were now once again on their own. Would the Bunker Hill doors open? And what secret would be inside? The beautiful keys that she would find would unlock the gates before her, according to her guide. Could she trust that this would be true? She struggled with trust, though her guide said she had not been trusting in what was trustworthy. Well, that would give her plenty to think about as she was about to open the gates before her. Day 5, Chapter 5 of The Summit. Mallery now entered a dimly lit cave and wondered how the hot bowl of oatmeal, the juice, fresh fruit, and roll appeared on the table that morning without her or Crockett hearing anyone enter the shack during the night. The good thing was that now she had a map. She was to uncover rare and valuable stones, and she wondered why anything rare and valuable would be hidden in this dark place. The first number shown on the map revealed the shape of a blue sapphire. Oh, she had never uncovered any gemstones before, much less anything of value. Well, Crockett seemed to like this game that felt somewhat like a scavenger hunt. Though what he found first was a swarm of bees by a small bush of azure flowers that she recognized as envelopes. Would all these stones be valuable, and would she be able to keep them? Day 6, Chapter 6 of The Summit. Mallery was still laughing as she questioned the logic of plans for a bridge in a cave. She was by herself with no supplies, and the chasm before her and the other side, it looked truly daunting. However, the plans did interest her. It looked as though there was a drawbridge. Did it extend to the other side? And if so, would it hold both her and Crockett? Seeing her guide again, it brought all of her questions to the forefront, though his sudden appearance did startle her. How did he get here? Giving her a long, slender drafting pencil and a book confirmed the fact that she would have to complete the drawbridge. Well, her first thoughts were, I can't. Though when she recalled the first key, she knew she needed to change her language to say, I can. Day 7, Chapter 7 of The Sonnet. 2 of Mallery's jewels were now gone, used in small, rusty boxes that must have some magical power to reveal not only plans for a bridge, but also for a drawbridge that otherwise would have been hidden. The band of hope, still secure on her wrist, it continued to tighten and loosen, dependent on her staying on course to her summit. She now found herself in a room with steel pieces lining the walls. Would the room fall in with the removal of the attached pieces? Well, she now saw the numbered details in faded print on plans. Had those numbers just materialized overnight? Or was the brighter light now showing what was once invisible? Well, she hoped to one day find out the secret to all the mysterious revelations from her guide. Day 8, Chapter 8 of The Summit. Today was the day Mallery was to cross the bridge. Nothing would hinder her now, even though the note left for her said, your time is your most valued possession. Stay on course and don't let any fabricated validation distract you from your purpose. Well, she couldn't imagine anything that could distract her now. Crossing would be a challenge with no rails and Crockett by her side, but keeping her eyes straight ahead on the goal, it would get her there. After the darkness of the cave, there was now enough light to warm her entire being. Was that a town that she saw in the distance? Where was the mountain she was to climb? Well, the town was called the Land of Allure, and it drew her in. The idea factory, oh, that was intriguing. She'd love to immerse herself in that space, but the amount of unfinished projects was puzzling. Where were all the workers? Day 9, Chapter 9 of The Sonnet. Mallery now knew where all the workers were. Well, they were at the social media circus. How could anyone stay away from places like Friendland, Tinselcam, Bluebird, or Connector? Oh, well, she just knew that by staying here for a few days or even a few weeks, well, she could boost her profile and she could add friends and even unfriend some contacts with private consulting, of course. It would help her in so many ways. But there was a challenge. Her car kept circling on the large roundabout. A roundabout was needed in a place this large, but how was she to get off? Her panic, it kept sending her faithful companion, Crockett, to the floorboards. Well, she had to find a way off and would do so only with a resolve focused on her true purpose. Day 10, Chapter 10 of The Summit. It didn't seem fair that Mallery ended up stuck, circling endlessly on a roundabout, and she saw no one else in the same predicament. It was the same when she saw others get the huge break, the big promotion, or even the new relationship that increased their status. That had never happened for her. Her thoughts had turned into a jumble of crossed wires and detours. But now she was safe off the roundabout. But why did she have to spend another jewel, especially the precious amethyst, her birthstone? Writing in her journal had become a daily habit. It helped her remember her accomplishments and the journey that she was taking. But now that her guide gave her actual climbing tools, was she really expected to scale the face of a mountain? She was no climber, and heights definitely did not appeal to her. Day 11, Chapter 11 of The Summit. The large, flat cobblestones stood hand-hewn, chiseled to interlock, creating an artistic mosaic. Well, most were partially covered with a thick layer of dirt, but Mallery could still see their pattern. Why would a path be crafted with such artful stones with only a meadow as its destination? Oh, she dreamed of standing in front of a few hundred people in this meadow. Somehow that no longer seemed impossible. Was this next town that she had seen in the distance merely a mirage? And was she once again traveling in a roundabout? When her hand fell upon the ribbons, she knew her guide had given her exactly what she needed to help her mark her path. The colorful ribbons felt like new little friends to help her find her way to this new little town. But was she really going to have to give up everything she had gained to go any further? Day 12, Chapter 12 of The Summit. Mallery had faced hardship during this trip, and she had endured. Now she must make the mountaintop, or she would be left with nothing. Or would she? Would getting to the top of her summit only give her bragging rights? Would that accomplishment really change her life or give her better friends? Would it help her find inspiring work or even discover true love? She at least needed to go to the base of Hero Mountain, at least to have a look. Maybe standing there, it would renew her determination to reach the summit. Mallery didn't want to become a statistic, one who started the climb only to give up by sliding down the safety rope. She couldn't let her whole team down. But now she was not only missing the courage to finish, but she was missing her band of hope. Her guide had said, she couldn't reach her summit without it. Would it show up? Day 13, Chapter 13 of The Summit. This was climbing day. Mallery, now Andriette, had invested all she had to get to this point. They had just finished a full week of training, and her skills hadn't come in handy for her whole team. as she drew sketches for the team to picture the best placements for their feet and for their hands. This helped tremendously with everyone improving their performance. Well, she knew their training, it was thorough, and it should equip them for any situation that might arise on the mountain. But there were still many unknowns. Andriette's nervousness, it had become a burst of adrenaline. Well, but this was no climbing wall. The 3 days ahead would have them working together as a team. They would leave no one stranded on the mountain. The days had been so beautiful and clear before they left. But on the mountain, weather patterns changed quickly. The simple song that she had sung alone, it was now sung by all. We've been on a journey. This is our summit song. We're almost to the top. Now it won't be long. And she hoped those words would ring and be true. Epilogue for The Summit. Andriette, formerly Mallery, had been hoping for a gondola and was exhilarated to find one just beyond the next ridge after making it all the way to the top. Both teams had requested a yellow band of hope after seeing hers, and she assumed it was her guide who furnished them upon their return. It was inspiring to hear what others had gained from their trip. Rohan and Ilana had been wonderful teammates. What Andriette had gained would not have happened without the struggle and the persistence. She no longer felt afraid to pursue new possibilities and ideas. More than that, she let go of those superficial goals and her desires to pursue what was truly real and truly important in her life. She was no longer ill-fated, but strong, fearless, and brave as Andriette, reaching her summit. Get your copy now of The Summit, Journey to Hero Mountain. Available in all formats on Amazon.com and other book retailers. Thanks so much for spending time with me today. I love bringing you insights to help you maximize your skills, resources, and experience at mid-career and beyond so that you can make your next chapter your most impactful and purposeful yet. I'm Deborah Johnson, and I can't wait to be with you again next time on the Power of After show.